Welcome to Tampa Yugioh. This is John, and our third episode of Resolving the Chain, where we take five topics, five current Yu-Gi-Oh topics, and take about 3 minutes to discuss each of them. Today, I'm joined by Hassan. Hassan, tell everybody how long kind of you've been in the game and what your experience has been so far.
Yeah, for sure. So first of all, thanks for having me, John. I remember when you first told me about the whole idea that you had. It was pretty exciting to hear about it, and now to kind of see it happening has been really cool too. So happy to be a guest on the show and give some input and my insights and my own experiences. So I've been playing now for about 2.5 years, I want to say, at least competitively. I grew up around the game, watching the show. Never really took it as serious as I did until I got involved here in the community in Tampa. So it's been a pretty cool journey so far, and yeah, I'm happy to share what I know and see what we got going on.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you agreeing to be a guest. I'm excited to hear your perspective on some of these things. Let's jump right in. Let's go to Chainlink 5. We're going to start talking about the Remote Duel Invitational.
Yeah, man, that was quite an interesting sight to see. I remember when remote duels were first sort of announced. I feel like exactly what happened in this remote duel specifically is what everybody was kind of scared of. It was kind of dramatic, and there was a lot of drama involved afterward. I think all the duelists played very well. I was happy to see that the meta is still kind of holding its form even before the ban list. Everybody knew Virtual World was gonna come out and come out swinging, but it was cool to see Shaddoll invoked in top 4, and it was an interesting tournament to say the least, but it was kind of upsetting how everything sort of panned out in the very end of it. So what are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the decks were pretty much what we expected would be popular, but I think the cool deck that's kind of emerged over the course of this format has been that Shaddoll invoked, kind of like trap heavy, very grindy deck. It really outgrinds things really well and just gets so much advantage from like Shaddoll Schism, just being able to fuse every single turn using graveyard resources. So you're going +1 every single turn, your turn and your opponent's turn, which is crazy. Yeah. All of your traps gain you advantage over your opponent, or just take 1-for-1 trades so that you can, kind of take advantage of all those +1s you're getting by denying your opponent the ability to go plus. So I think that deck's really cool. I think we saw exactly what we expected with Drytron, Virtual World, all that stuff up there. I can't really think of any decks that were super unique, like the Zodiac Tri-Brigade list. I wish would have done a little better, but I just don't think the format's ready for that.
Yeah, I think Zoo Eldlick too, making a showing in top 4 was really nice. It's just a very consistent deck, just with the power of having there's the Tanky on board with Golden Lord Engrave. Like that small little niche interaction just kind of really allows the deck to pop off. I mean, the meta itself, this format has been really, really fun to sort of participate in and play against all these sort of decks, just because I believe in the past what I've experienced is it's just been, combo, and okay, scoop, let's go to the next game. Whereas here it feels like there's more of like back and forth, and I think that makes the game a bit more enjoyable rather than watching your opponent play and then you just have to be forced to go to the next game. I think BFD definitely showed out in this tournament as well, and it kind of made its case for why it maybe needs to go as well, just because this format has really been abusing it. It's been abused in the past from what I've seen, but not like this, especially with Virtual World being able to dump out 2 in 1 turn if they go completely uninterrupted. Like that's a little bit absurd, but again, I thought it was a solid tournament. I'm glad that it's still going on. I know remote duels again didn't seem so ideal at first, but it seems to be the way things are going moving forward.
Yeah, for sure. So let's move on to Chainlink 4. We did see Virtual World ultimately take it, but there was a little bit of controversy that happened where, it was the champion was actually accused of cheating during this tournament. So did you get a chance to see any of that coverage? What did you think of that?
Yeah, so I kind of picked up on it. It was memed about at first. I didn't really understand what was going on through different sources and stuff like that until I watched the playback and saw some people's perspectives on it. And I kind of alluded to this when we were talking about the tournament in general. It's just kind of what we were scared of when it came to remote duels, is the fact that being that you're in your own space and you're locked into one camera angle, it's very easy to get away with tricks and really deceive the viewers. So it seemed that's what happened. But just cheating in general for this game, I feel like is just you already have a handful of people that sort of play this game in a toxic manner, and to take it to that level on such a premier event, I think it just that sort of thing, it's not good for Konami in general and for players in general, because what's the incentive to play the game if people are able to pull these sorts of stunts and kind of take away from the actual experience of the game and grinding out a game rather than just being able to put a single card in your hand that wins you the entire tournament in that case. So it was a little upsetting to see, and again, it just reinforced everybody's fears from the get. And so
yeah, I think I watched the video coverage. I watched like I think it's Gabriel Vargas who made the video about kind of making the accusations and laying out the evidence. But and I was convinced by it. I did see something that kind of gave reasonable doubt, where somebody said that the tournament organizers actually have a wider field of view than what we can see. So the judges may have actually been able to see whether or not he's cheating. Then again, judges may not be paying attention. They may, there's a lot of things. So I'm not prepared to say he definitely did, but the footage did look pretty damning from what we were able to see. Yeah.
I mean, just, from what I've experienced too, I know there's like not intentional cheating, like there's like a error in game state where you just continue on and, both players may have missed something and it's maybe a little too late to repair game state, but to actually physically swap out cards and stuff like that I've never seen. And I know even when Konami allowed the double sleeving, that was something that was a cause for concern, is people potentially stacking the deck or what have you. But I remember just back when I first started playing in person, the issue of like shuffling a certain way was even like being paid attention to. But I think in Remote Duel, being that it is an isolated situation where you're kind of in your own space, makes it a bit harder for you to cheat. So
yeah, I mean, there's always going to be cheating in the game. I mean, we've had some stuff even here in this community where people have been accused, but I think ultimately people are innocent until proven guilty. But the footage, I definitely encourage everybody to go and watch the footage and see maybe things to look out for if remote duels continue.
Right.
All right, let's move on to Chain 3.
Sweet.
All right, our next topic is online dueling itself. The alternative to remote duels is obviously the online format, which I know you spend a lot of time grinding. What's, over the last kind of year of COVID, what's been your experience with online dueling? Yeah,
so even prior to COVID, my testing before going to locals and stuff like that all kind of took place on Dueling Book. I used Yugioh Pro for a little bit before I figured out that Dueling Book is just a bit more manual, and you're able to kind of play through your hands and stuff a little bit better rather than having the system like make it automatic for you. But yeah, I think it's fun. I wish the only thing I miss or I don't get from online is like a timing, like a time rule sort of situation. But I think Dueling Book has sort of taken off. It's been cool to see all of these like Facebook groups and stuff like that post all these tournaments through Dueling Book. We know like the LCS and all those sorts of things have become really popular since COVID started. But for me, I think what's been really interesting about Dueling Book, it really forces you to learn the game mechanics a bit more as you're declaring it through a chat. Whereas in person, it's just you're flowing and you're going through the game. Whereas here, you have to declare everything. everything has to be stated. And so that has helped me learn the game a lot more, especially resolving chain links, just talking and talking with your opponent and being like, hey, like, this is my chain link. Do you have a response? Yeah. Hearing them out. And it allows you to really sit there, read cards, which we know Yu-Gi-Oh players don't really like to do. But you have to sit there and read and make sure that your interactions are working properly, and you're playing as legal as possible as well, because there is room for error with disconnects, misclicks, things like that. But I think veterans of Dueling Book have figured out a way to sort of make this a streamlined process and an enjoyable process for everyone.
Yeah, online dueling has just never really appealed to me. It's just, I don't know why. It's just, too many misclicks, too many and maybe that's just me not being practiced with it. But I've always kind of had the opinion that it was really toxic online. I don't know if that's just a couple bad experiences or what, but it's never really been my cup of tea. But at the same time, I'm really glad that we have a platform like Dueling Book.
Right.
Because that's really been like a lifesaver for the game over the past year. When, obviously Magic has like Magic the Gathering Online, Pokemon has Pokemon TCG Online. There's no equivalent with Yu-Gi-Oh! Like the Switch game is the closest equivalent, or Duel Links.
Yeah.
So Konami doesn't support online, and it's great that fans kind of stepped up to fill that role, because I don't know if the game would have necessarily made it over the past year without the events, because without good prizing, the only reason people play is just to have fun and play.
Right. Yeah. And I think too, that's what like the whole ranked dueling system that they have on Dueling Book definitely adds a little bit of competitiveness to it. But it's you're not playing for money or anything. You're playing for a rank, and it keeps it competitive while also making it fun as well.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Chain Link 2. So, the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc deck has kind of been emerging into popularity in the meta, not nearly as much as some things like Eldritch or, Shadal, Virtual World, Drytron, those kind of things. And it's not really the format for it yet, maybe, but I know that you and I have had a lot of fun experimenting with this deck. Let's just kind of talk about it for a second. What do you like about it?
Again, I think it's just one of those decks where it really allows you to, just sort of play out every game. It's not like your opponent can set something up that you can't potentially break, at least. And there's so many pieces of the Tri-Brigade Lyrilusc specifically that, extends so far beyond interruptions, and it's still able to end on like a banish or something from like Omen, or it just pluses pretty hard as well. So I think it was fun in that regard, just because I believe you've mentioned that it's more of a mid-range deck where it's not completely control and it's not completely combo. So you kind of get the best of both worlds in that regard. But it's been extremely fun, and it's been cool to like learn it with you and see it pick up. And a lot of people are starting to turn their attention towards it and realize like this could be a potential contender moving forward.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about the deck is you always have a play. Like now with Kit out, there's like that one card combo just Fractal ends on Samorg. And a lot of times Samorg and Statue is just game against most decks.
Especially with the protection that you get from Kit. Like there's just, so they'll try to bait it out, but at that point Samorg just starts generating so much advantage for you. Yeah. It's hard to outgrind.
Yeah, that's one thing that I've noticed is just if that deck gets a second turn, it almost always wins, because you're going to go like +1, +2, then all your Tri-Brigade minions are going to come out and start like bringing out just big links. Shireg, I really slept on how good that card was before I started actually playing, but I find myself going into that all the time just to put pressure on people.
Just a non-targeting banish is insane. And it plays through almost all current decks boss monsters right now, which has been really cool to see. And the fact that you can set him up, and you're not setting him up to leave him there most of the time. You can link him off and get his secondary effect, which triggers when he goes to grave, and just plus some more. So it's a very, very fun deck that takes some time. You got to think about it, and you got to make sure your plays are being executed properly, and you're able to kind of outgrind your opponent in most cases.
Yeah, I think it's just crazy. I think I really underestimated how good the Tri-Brigade cards were, because they all, with the exception of Karis, they all kind of they generate advantage not only when they're on the field or in the hand, but they also generate advantage once they hit grave. Like Kid and Nerval are just setting you up for future plays. You're gaining advantage while also getting that hard +1 of banishing graveyard resources to make really, really good link monsters. Hey, the timer worked this time.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, definitely a deck to watch. I think we can both agree on
absolutely.
that.
Go on about it for forever, as we have, but
yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to Chainlink 1. All right. So as I stated before, you're kind of a newer player. I mean, if we subtract the last year of playing online, you're even more new. I can remember when you started showing up at the shop. What do you think has been maybe the number one piece of advice that you've gotten as a newer player that's helped you evolve as a player?
I would say it's not necessarily like one piece of advice. It's just been kind of like a collective advice that I've received from this community. I've sort of learned from everybody that I've ever played with or sat down with at our shop. Mm-hmm. Whether they were playing some random deck that they just put together or actual competitive meta deck. I came in the game just, trying to have fun with my little brother and, our good friend Elvin. We were just messing around. We didn't know what we were doing at first until we kind of saw, the top tables. We saw how, knowledgeable you guys were of the game. And that sort of introduced us to a different element of Yu-Gi-Oh in general that we didn't necessarily know existed. So I think just the advice and interactions that I've had with everybody at the card shops, at some of these bigger events that I've been able to participate in, and it just became a great pastime. It became a very fun hobby, with potential of actually winning some cool stuff and meeting some great people. So it's been a really fun experience, and I haven't looked back since I started playing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of like some of the things that maybe we've told you. Like I was thinking about, did you get anything out of like the card roll discussion, like when I was talking about starters, extenders, that kind of stuff?
Oh, absolutely. I think to talk more on that, like just learning how to properly deck build, definitely took my game and my strategy to another level. Just sort of understanding why ratios are important, why you need a starter versus an extender, superior extent, all these phrases that I didn't even think of. I always think back to my very first tournament that I played when I was like a very young kid at like Toys R Us. I showed up with an 80 card deck, and the judge was just like, "Man, this is not like even legal. We got to trim away 20 cards." And in my head, I didn't know, what that meant. But here I am now, older and with a better understanding of the game, and I realize I try to keep it to 40 as much as possible. And it's just for consistency. But yeah, it's been a fun experience to realize how much knowledge everybody has, and just everybody wants to see everybody play well because it makes them better. If you're building up the community around you, it only makes your game that much better as well. I know there's some toxic people in the community as well, but I think for the most part, you end up having a good time with people that are there to just really enjoy the game, and especially the ones that want to teach. I've been so fortunate at this card shop, that I have so many people that are, calling me out or letting me know like, hey, like, you're doing this wrong, or you could have done this better. And, just improving my game every time I play someone has been really cool. I definitely miss it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big advice to new players. Our time's up. Before we move on, always be willing to learn, always be willing to take advice. You do not have the monopoly on good deck ideas or good deck builds. Your reasons for what you're doing are probably not good. I know that a lot of times mine aren't, and I've been playing the game for 5 going on 6 years. Yeah. So like if you're a newer player, please, when you get scraped by somebody, take their advice afterwards. Ask them what
just
you could
hear
have
them
done
out.
better.
Yeah, just listen, see what interaction, caused them to gain advantage or something like that, and just really try to take away from every game. But I think, again, Tampa has a great community of really, really good players. And so, with that, we kind of get a little bit of a step up in the game and learning a lot of these niche interactions as we move forward. So it's been really fun.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's our show. We knocked out 5 topics. Took a little bit longer than 15 minutes, but I think we got some good discussion. What do you think?
For sure. Yeah, man. I mean, I like to talk, and so I was happy when you brought me on. I was like, oh man, I've been dying to share, my experience just because it's been a cool ride so far, and I've made some great friendships and met some pretty cool people too. So again, thanks for having me, man. We'll be talking soon. We'll probably get on to some testing and whatnot, and just keep playing the game and keep having fun.
Yeah. You got anything you want to plug? Do you want to plug your dueling book name or anything?
I'm on Dueling Book. I'm Sage Mode. If you ever want to just watch me misplay or watch me, get scraped or something, sometimes I have some good games, but I also just want to shout out the Tampa community. A big reason of why I still play is a lot of you guys. Shout out to Oblivion Games. They're still doing their thing, providing people what they need. Definitely miss sitting down at those white tables, setting up your mat, rolling the dice and getting started on the game. So hopefully we'll be able to get back to that soon. But yeah, so then hit me up. I'm always down to test, guys. So just let me know.
Right on, man. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate everybody watching. Make sure I try to do a lot of new things with this episode. I think I noticed a bit of lag going on while we're recording here. But yeah, I'm trying to work it through the stream setup and everything. But let me know in the comments what you thought of the new graphics, of the animation, transitions, all that stuff. I was pretty excited to roll it all out, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Make sure you like, subscribe, just keep following our stuff. I'm trying to do videos a lot more often now. I'm like on my 3rd straight week, which is like unprecedented. So I appreciate Hassan, you being a guest. I appreciate all your thoughts and everything on all this stuff.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me. Looking forward to the next episodes.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. We did it. 5 topics, 15 minutes. Come back next week for episode 4. See ya.